Welcome back, everybody, to WGL. If you just tuned in, we were about to play our last match of the night between Ehrmagerd Caernervern and Bear Huggers, also known as the Battle of the Best Red Sky. I'm very excited, and actually also members of Simba as well. A lot of members from their combined teams to make Bear Huggers. I'm very excited, and we already have 2 series that have been played. Andre, what happened so far this night?
Okay, well, we got our first series was Purple Rain against Simplistic. Simplistic showed just fantastic composure. 3-0'd Purple Rain. Well, a lot of people thought it was going to be a lot closer. Purple Rain obviously coming from the previous qualifiers, but they showed no match for Simplistic. Our next teams were Forever Victory and Warriors of Honor. And again, we saw the same thing. Warriors of Honor just rose up on top over Forever Victory and just pronounced themselves they were the better team. Now we move on to 2 teams that we've actually casted the previous days. And we have a couple of clips to just show their little journey through this qualifier. Let's go ahead and start out with Ehrmagerd Caernervern. We've seen them not only in the last qualifier, but of course, they actually almost qualified. They got knocked out
to the round of 8. And keep in mind, the top 4 qualify from each tournament that we're hosting for the past couple of weeks. So they need to get to the round of 4. They got to the round of 8, and they lost to Cazadores in a very tight series. It was 3-2. Yeah,
but now they're showing pretty good skill. I mean, the recent qualifiers, well, this qualifier, they've come out arms swinging, ready to go. Let's go ahead and play the clip real quick of Ehrmagerd Caernervern, see what they did in the previous days. I mean, this really shows it. Look at this position, right? You don't even have to know much to see what the red team has done. And of course, that is EC Ehrmagerd Caernervern, just completely demolishing their opponents. That's really what we've seen. We've seen big rushes, them surrounding their opponents. This is a complete 360, guys. I mean, like, how much better can you get from that? Sleeping on the job? No, just kidding. You're watching. I know you're watching.
I was watching the action. I was really enamored by the play of Ehrmagerd Caernervern. They played really well.
That's the kind of beautiful stuff. Yeah,
I love seeing them on open maps. Their strategies are really cool. Of course, we have even a team roster of Ehrmagerd Caernervern. Let's go ahead and pull it up so that way you can even get familiarized with all of those team members. And those team members include players like Vect, DM Gomes, Urtai, Trouble 2, Kemsey, DeRasta, Whiskey Dodd, Dead Meat, Sean Horse, and Tommy Cannon 69.
I love Trouble.
That's
because
right,
whenever
you don't love Whiskey Dodd? Where's the love for the DOD?
Well, I like Whiskey Dodd, but I love Trouble so much just because I know he's a gigantic Taylor Swift fan. I want to invite him out to the LA Center.
He does live in California, so
look at that.
Yeah, he lives out here near us, so he's not. Yeah,
Let's bring him out.
He's about an hour away, I'd guess. So
let's bring him out.
Yeah, you want to bring him out?
We gotta be careful because when he walks in, we should know that he is Trouble.
It is true.
Shame on us if we don't know that.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
I definitely know.
Shame on us.
You guys are gonna have to learn about Trouble.
Well, that is one team that's pretty favorite, and Gretorp's already mentioned the other team, which is Bear Huggers. Let's go ahead and play some of the highlights of Bear Huggers, as they have a team that we haven't heard too much of in the first qualifier, but now they're here. And look at how well they played starting on Himmelsdorf when they played against War and Peace. Now, I do want to commend, again, War and Peace did hold off, and they were playing a man down. They were playing, or actually 2 men down, it's 5 versus 7. But just look at how well Bear Huggers is able to get formation. This complete surround of the IS-3 summarizes it all. Coordination, synchronization, as well as great team shots and stacking. Really looking forward to see how they're going to stack up against Ehrmagerd Caernervern.
That's right. I mean, this game, particularly on Himmelsdorf, showed not only their ability to execute, but also their mind games. They played really, really cool mind games and head games against their opponents, giving themselves the big positional advantage. That's something that's so, so powerful.
Cool. Let's go ahead and also look at the team rosters of Bear Huggers so that you can get familiarized with their members. We have Static, Risers, Mako 26, James in 1, Blackmane 27, Roddy Dangerfield, Frizzled, Nigel 561, Lestat Sick, and Tommy Cannon 69, who apparently is on. Is he on Bear Huggers?
That's an error. He is on Ehrmagerd Caernervern. You got that right.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So little typo there.
Well, he's 2-timing.
He is the leader of Red Sky currently, so you know, maybe he belongs on both
Maybe it's
rosters.
one of the things where he doesn't want to pick favorites.
Actually,
Daddy loves both of our children.
Loves both teams equally, so he's just going to be on both.
One battle he's on one team, the other battle he's on Bear Huggers.
That would be pretty good.
That would be pretty interesting. That's obviously not allowed, so Tommy Cannon cannot do that. But we'll actually see what happens, because I do believe he's picking Ehrmagerd Caernervern.
Yeah, he is on Ehrmagerd Caernervern. And I think Ehrmagerd Caernervern's a really strong team, because you have Tommy Cannon, DeRosta, Whiskey Dodd, and Trouble 2. All 4 of these guys are known for making very, very competent strategies. Yeah. Whiskey Dodd is a great.
They're all-stars.
Yeah, exactly, all-stars. And I think with their talents combined, they might create some super strats. Oh.
Lots of space, but normally we don't see much of that given by Ehrmagerd Caernervern. We're currently watching the blue team in the south. It is Bear Huggers, the team that won 3-0 against War and Peace last night. Will they punch their ticket to the round of 8 and end another upset over a team that we expect to get to the qualifiers? What's going on, Ruukil?
Well, we're seeing something really aggressive. Vect and DeRosta going off to the west in the south, and it looks like Trouble's going all the way over. We got Gomes as well.
Here we go.
And here we go. They're going to meet him head on.
The clash already has begun. Let's go ahead and jump to Clutch's cam and get a good high view of the action. As right now, Big Daddy and Trouble 2 exchanging blows. A T-71 able to try to corner this WZ-132. Trouble 2 is a big linchpin to this entire composition. We were talking about how he's going to be poking out. He cannot drop here.
Wow, WZ-132 being played by Trouble 2 is doing so
clash.
well. Oh my God,
no.
Unfortunate.
Lestat jumped into Big Daddy and caused both stagnation of movement, and both of them took the punishment. Tommy Cannon with the execution.
And he's going to crash into the the T-50 and crush him as well. Trouble 2 smash and phase. Now going to clean up this T-71. Beautifully done by Ehrmagerd Caernervern.
There are 2 ways to damage. I said blue team was Bear Huggers. It's actually Ehrmagerd Caernervern. There are 2 ways to damage in this game. One with your tank and one with your gun. And Ehrmagerd Caernervern using both of these in synchronization with symbiotic results, commencing into a huge defeat of Bear Huggers' army. There's only the GW Panther. There's only the T-21. Where is your front line? It's gone.
It's absolutely gone. Exciting, exceptional, brilliant play coming out from Ehrmagerd Caernervern.
I think they're trying to beat their own record of how fast they can end the game.
Yeah, they are, man. Like, every team knows their strategy. Every team knows what they're going to do. And they do it anyway and win every single time. I felt like the tanks that were picked by Bear Huggers were great. The T-69s are a lot different than what we've seen in the past. A lot of times we see those AMX 1390s and AMX 5100s. They don't have the best shots, best gun depressions to line up the shots. But no, T-69s are going to be picked. Still, we're not able to handle the Ehrmagerd Caernervern.
Wow,
who can? Who can?
The EC was able to take it out, and you can see that Bear Huggers didn't even take out their starting supply units over there. As right now, a 1-0 lead right out of the gate in just 2.5 minutes. Well done, but we've come to expect nothing less from Ehrmagerd Caernervern.
Yes, sir. There's nobody more happy in the studio right now than Ruukil.
Yeah, Ruukil, let's go ahead and ask you, what did you think of that match?
That was awesome.
He's dancing. Look at him. He has the Ruukil dance.
I have to commend. Trouble 2 was in quite a pickle, but he confounded the enemy to just ram into themselves. I can't believe that actually was able to happen.
He is turning into quite the WZ-132 player.
Yes,
he
is
one of the newer tanks of the game, and I've been playing it a lot recently. It's one of my new favorite tanks. It's so accurate on the move with the 85mm cannon, and if you can drive well and you can shoot well on the move with a WZ-132, you can be so very effective. And Trouble was very effective. I'm pretty sure one of his crew skills was controlled impact. It is
to handle rams and stuff?
Yes, it increases the damage that you deal when you ram and decreases the damage you take when you ram. And it seems like his style. I'm going to want to ask him, but I would put money on the fact that he has controlled impact as one of his crew skills.
That would be awesome,
because you saw the way that worked.
Trouble 2 was able to not only get and confuse the enemy, but also do damage and survive. It's one thing to also confuse, but to get out of there while adding damage, and who knows, I mean, what would you even expect? Trouble 2 was also the guy who discovered the Panther. From start to finish, from the very beginning to the end, Trouble 2 was there stirring it up, man. Let's go ahead and load the map intro and get you guys acquainted with Himmelsdorf before we jump into battle number 2.
Where's the bird? Did I miss the bird?
The bird's in Ruinberg, man.
Oh, you're right. I apologize for my indiscretions.
But there is a nice smoking house, into if you want. Welcome to Himmelsdorf. It's a city map that's German, I would assume. And in the bottom half of the map, we have the red team. It is Bearhuggers currently down 0-1 against Ehrmagerd Caernervern. Up 1-0, the blue team that's taking Tank Alley. Ruukil, tell me what's going on.
Yep, right now we have a pretty standard setup. It looks like they're expecting something to happen on the east. Durasta and Kemsey are set up, and Durasta is going to start playing some nice corner games. I really want to see him do this. Yep, he's going to turn his tank around for a nice perfect angle. He's going to be impenetrable if he can find another enemy over down the tank alley. At the same time, we're going to see Ertai and the T-69 going towards the hill, and the two T-1s hanging out in the west.
Yeah, you know, we've been seeing the T-69s trying to go up the hill and meet the potential T-1 scouts there, or in this case the MS-1, and try to immediately take it out and get some hill map control. But in this case, nobody's really going for the hill and Bearhugger side. Instead, they're focusing more towards the train tracks.
Yeah, I do want to mention this reverse angling that is constantly said by Ruukil all the time. You can see he's actually turned around completely. It puts him at an angle, Durasta over here, it puts him at an angle where you can't really hit him that well, and if you do hit him, all of a sudden he's not in a good position. Well, he's being angled in a way where it's like 60%, 70%, something like that, or 70% or 70-degree angle. And that means your effective armor is going to be off the charts. You're looking at 200-300 armor just by reverse angling over there. So really, really cool position by Durasta.
Most certainly, and we'll see how it turns to play. But for now, all they see is a T1 there played by Jakeson. Most, if not all, of the enemy units on Bearhugger's side still cautiously hugging the 3 line, which is being spotted by Vecht as well as Scharnhorst. Those guys really trying to make sure nothing suspicious is happening on the west side, but eventually, sooner or later, they're going to find out.
Yep. Everything's still calm right now. No movement with that T-69 played by Ertai on the top of the hill just yet. He is expecting something to come up there, but we know for sure that there is nothing on that hill, so he could move forward, but he doesn't want to leave his friends open and vulnerable.
And it matters a lot because you might be wondering why. I thought Ehrmagerd Caernervern was such an aggressive team. Don't they want to be able to speed up the pace and be aggressive? Yes, they do, most certainly. But once they find out, until they find out their opponent's positions, they can't necessarily take that risk, especially with big tanks like the AMX 5100 to do damage that can put out damage really quick with burst, and they have also a huge HP sponge in the KV5. Every hit matters, especially the opening one.
Yep, that's why we have just very passive play, and I think that's why we saw Bearhuggers choose Himmelsdorf.
Slow down the pace.
Exactly. It's a, okay, Prokhorovka, we know, no bueno. We don't want it. Don't want. Let's go to Himmelsdorf.
We'll play steps next.
Let's go to Ruinberg, something where there is some sort of city, and use that to advantage, slow it down, and let's play our form of robot tanks.
We'll see the two T1s with Scharnhorst as well as Frizzled spot each other. MS1 and T1.
Oh,
Frizzled taking a little bit of damage.
Power of the T1 over the MS1. Sup?
And both T1s have been scouted from Ehrmagerd Caernervern, so good job there from Bearhuggers, and they know, well, at least not one of the T1s on the hill. That's still relevant and pertinent information to help them formulate their strategy, which is hold the 3 line.
Yes, sir. For now, I mean, Frizzled should not die to this. I mean, it's pretty long ranged at this point. He has so much obstruction to go behind. So for now, Ertai has made a little bit of movement on the top of the hill. I like what we're seeing. He has realized now that
no one's there.
No one's there.
And I think that he should kind of piece it together. They saw Jakeson over in Tank Alley. Now they spotted Frizzle. Nice camera work. Clutch. I love that coming through the opening ceiling. And, that was Ruukil.
That was me.
Well, you kind of ruined the Ruukil by going through that wall.
Well, I had to because I wanted
to
go
look. You just went
look.
God mode. It's like before you were like slick cameraman for Steven Spielberg, and now all of a sudden you're just
I'm not
really
perfect.
knocking through walls. Like you're in omniscient mode in Minecraft.
Well, 2 different styles.
Okay, anyways, back to my earlier point. Urtai should kind of piece together that Jakeson and Frizzled are not on the hill, so he's slowly but surely taking a nice avenue where he can spot one of the heavies in the G line. Very nice job, and all of a sudden, really nice, good position for Ehrmagerd Caernervern to use their next decision.
Yeah, he was doing a couple of blind shots here, Urtai was, and he managed to pen Ryder, so it looks like he penned him twice. But let's see if he does anything else.
That's huge.
Yeah, that is pretty gigantic.
That's going to make Ryder's a little bit more cautious of whether or not he can poke around and get a shot, because all of a sudden, a couple of hits, a couple of high rolls, 2 high rolls from an IS-3 and an AMX-50 can immediately take out Ryder, so he has to be very careful with how he approaches the next few movements. And we see Bear Hugger starting to move out a little bit. We see that Static getting a little bit out in the open, already taking a shot and losing some of his health.
Yes, sir. But
trying to avoid Urtai on the high ground.
I mean, still, it's just little pokes here and there, but this is all going to help out Ehrmagerd Caernervern for the eventual fight, right? We are going to see some sort of clash. And how it stands, like these guerrilla tactics, this guerrilla warfare is panning out very nicely for Ehrmagerd Caernervern. We haven't yet seen a really crystal clear plan by Bear Huggers, and I think that's the big problem. Yes, they've established position. Yes, they've been able to kind of maneuver around their opponents, but we haven't seen, this is our plan, this is what we want to do to take it to you.
All right, and now we're seeing on the east side, down the 8 line, DeRosta, Trouble 2, Kemsey, and Tommy Cannon are beginning their push.
Slow convergence as Urtai is going to join up with them, coming up from that hill. And how are they going to approach this? Now, I would actually prefer going for the cap and drawing your opponents into them.
Oh, they might have to kind of audible that as they completely get spotted by Lestat and Nigel, and now we see a split. Tommy Cannon is going to try to hold it down with one of his buddies. Kenzie and Trouble 2 going to take the K line and completely try to pincer their way in. Meanwhile, the T1s are going to push it onto the east, onto the western flank and make sure to keep spotting their opponents. And if Ehrmagerd Caernervern can clamp onto this position, they have the HP advantage. Can they close out the series?
Urtai and Trouble 2 being in key positions now, going to be able to cap and also get shots on Nigel. Nigel, it looks like he's going to go down. Wonderfully done. And Urtai, look at this. He's tucked away in a corner. They have to now go into position right in the open. So much crossfire being done over here.
Urtai is kind of getting pinned by Lestat, but Lestat gets a low roll instead. Urtai lives with 99 health, and as a result, Lestat might have to go in for another shot. He misses, or he doesn't get the penetration.
Yeah, he doesn't get the pen.
That was a bounce.
It was a bounce, and it was not able to finish off the kill there, as Lestat now has to try to go for another shot. Static, he rotates out. He must be clipping. Static trying to go in to finish it off, and he does. A nice position there for Bear Hugger to kind of gather themselves, because they did lose Rodney Dangerfield and Nigel pretty early on in the fight.
Yes, they did, but there's a gigantic flank coming around. Vect is going to do something. Is he? Maybe. AMX 5100 can be penned by Vect in that T1, but importantly, IS-3, oh, big pickoff right here.
Yeah, Static is coming up huge here for Bear Huggers, doing some good damage. Tommy Cannon trying to pin him back. Static charging forward, trying to get a good position over in the 5 line, but no, Static is taken out by Trouble, and that is going to be a nice job there for Ehrmagerd Caernervern, but they are low on hit points.
Tommy Cannon.
Is the only person there, and he does manage to finish off Tommy Cannon, which means there's only 2 members of Ehrmagerd Caernervern with a lot of hit points left on stat.
But still, 2 against 1 is really difficult. If you get a flank on each other, it's almost impossible to really do anything as that one.
But Bear Huggers is also on the clock. Ehrmagerd Caernervern, their 2 members are here at the red base trying to capture. Two people can capture obviously twice as fast, but after a certain point at the 50% mark, it's not going to be that beneficial.
That's right. That's right, and that's why they have to gun down.
They have to do something.
It was a bounce! AMX 5100 being played by Lestat did not get the pen on the IS-3, but the IS-3 playing by DeRosta knows he needs to be careful. In the meantime, he was providing some cross cover for that AMX 5100. Trouble 2 is going to go home and defend that cap. Meanwhile, DeRosta is going to buy a little bit of time. Just make sure that Lestat's going to get taken out! Oh my god, DeRosta gets the money shot! And now, can he cap in time? I don't think so. It's a Tier 1 Jakeson against an AMX 5100
needs
with
to get the
583
jukes of all time.
Yes,
Gretorp, if this is going to come down.
He'll be the Jukes of Hazard, man. That's the definition of it. He's looking for
not
him.
going to be happening.
And
Right now, Jason says, nothing to see here.
No.
Trouble 2.
Oh, boom, down he goes. And Ehrmagerd Caernervern is going to take it, ladies and gentlemen. Beautifully done. Wow, that was so close, Frodin. It could have gone totally different. That 2v1 situation, they're coming in at the same angle. It's an AMX 5100. It's an autoloader. It can boom, boom, double tap those guys. They're within the range to actually be killed. Almost one shot, actually. Not quite, but still, it's really, really close.
Welcome back, everybody, to WGLNA. If you're just tuning in, you're in time for what could be the last game between Ehrmagerd Caernervern and Bear Huggers. EC has proven their strength thus far in both qualifiers, now pushing Bear Huggers to the brink. Game number 3 is going to take place on Mines. Lots of opportunities for both teams. Let's find out what happens as the countdown has begun. Will Bear Huggers be able to start the rally? They need to come up with something. Their backs are to the wall, down 0-2. This is all or nothing. Mines begins now.
All right, it is Mines, as you said. Taking a look at the matchups, or the tank matchups, we have 2 AMX 5100s, 3 T32s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams over on the side for Ehrmagerd Caernervern. On the other side, Bear Huggers is sporting the AMX 5100s, 2 of them 3 T69s, and of course an MS1 and a T1. So instead of choosing the T32s with the great hold down positions, they're choosing the T69s that can also hold down, not nearly as good, but they have good gun depression. They can obviously shell out a lot of damage since they are autoloaders.
And it was interesting because, again, let's go ahead and introduce our teams. In the bottom half, we have Bear Huggers, the red team, that was kind of approaching the hill, but they have since then backed off and rallied towards the town. In the top half, we have Ehrmagerd Caernervern in a nice 2-3-2 split, taking the hill as well as the lighthouse, scouting, and the town. Ruukil, what's your take on the current opening position?
I am loving the way Tommy Cannon, Trouble, and Kemsey are lined up.
Yeah.
In T32s, I want to detail that there is a choice on the T32 for the gun that you pick. And if you take a look at the gun very closely, you can tell by I've learned to tell by looking at it, and that's the best way to tell. The muzzle brake, you can tell that is the 90mm cannon on the T32. That fires slightly quicker, and the gold rounds pen slightly higher. So it'll shoot fast and it'll pen hard, but it will not do the same damage as the 105 does.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. If you look at the T69s and AMX 5100s, they do not have nearly as much armor as some of the other ones. Of course, T32s alike, maybe IS-3s, which aren't usually used, but there are some much heavier ones, much heavier tanks that pack that armor that disallow those T32s from penning. Not going to have that problem over here.
Yeah, not going to have a problem with his 90 mils. And the thing is, they're going to fire so fast that if they catch somebody, they can track them. And that guy, even if he burns his kit, there's a chance someone else is going to hit his track right after that, and he will not be able to escape.
That's right.
So that is the idea. Also, T32s, there's a method that we developed called stacking our T32s, and you can line T32s up in such a way that you can make 2 of them nigh impenetrable. There's a very, very small window to actually pen the T32s that is on their turret when you do it. The first guy will not be able to get shots. We did this, and it's a great tactic, and I want to see if they'll pull it off. Now, right now, they're in such a way that they're just really in kind of a phalanx formation, pointed forward, ready to go on whoever.
Yeah, anything that comes by, they'll shoot.
Exactly. Anything that's going to come close.
Are you talking
enough.
about like angling your armor and synchronization so that way even it can't get any angle whatsoever to penetrate?
Exactly. There is an angle that you can achieve with
that
these.
Sounds pretty intimidating.
It is very intimidating. If they'd had the south side, I'd say they would have already been in that position, ready to go. But right now, they are just pointed all 3 in the same direction, ready to go. Trouble 2 is pointed middle of the rock, so he is ready to go either left or right, just in case. No one's going to distract the guns away from any position. So right now, that's what Trouble's doing. Kemsey and Tommy Cannon swiveling around, trying to find their shots.
Okay, so behind this, though, a lot of the movement has been done by Vect and Drosta. Both these 2 AMX 5100s swept the eastern side, the eastern village, and now they came all the way back and are going over to the island. So they are looking for a bust as the T-32s. They're moving up.
Yeah, they're engaging. Bear Huggers, they do take the first shots as Static loses some of his health there on the T69. Has to be really cautious. Pretty flimsy compared to that at T69, or T32 rather. Tommy Cannon also trying to put some shots on Big Daddy, taking some big DPS. Let's hop on Clutch's cam and get a bigger wide angle of what's going on. And immediately we have the T69 dropping. Static is no longer on the battlefield. He's going to have to sit on the sidelines and root for his team.
Double T1s moving up into the island. Amex 5100s directly behind that. T32s are now pushing forward, looking to battle against the Amex 5100s that are in pretty nice positions. You can see T32, played by Tommy Cannon, is being swiveled a little bit to try to promote as many bounces as possible. Tommy Cannon in the brunt of the line of fire, and he's not being taken out. A lot of bounces.
It's tough. Oh no, the AMX 5100 has been tracked. Lestat is in a bad position. He does manage to get out of there okay, but with almost all of his HP gone. Now, Ehrmagerd Caernervern has been doing this without their AMX 5100s. Vect and DeRosta have arrived to the battle. Reinforcements are here, and Rodney Dangerfield, your time is limited. Big Daddy, he's dropping in hit points at T69 on hightailing it out of there, but there is almost no space to run considering on how fast that these T32s are on pursuit. Bear Huggers looking to be on their last inch of their lifeline, and they don't have much room to give, as right now their HP pool combined is less than 200.
And down everybody goes. Only 2 tier 1s left, and Rodney Dangerfield, I don't think even Rodney Dangerfield can do it, man. I mean, he is not looking too good, as everybody's going to close up on him, and obviously he gets taken out.
Systematic dissection done by Ehrmagerd Caernervern. Bear Huggers will try to make something happen, maybe cap, but they're outnumbered. Even if they get 2 guys on there, 3 caps compared to 2 is completely outpaced there from Ehrmagerd Caernervern. I mean, they know also with that cap that one of their opponents is on their base, so they know where to start hunting.
That's right, and here it is. The end of the road for Bear Huggers. Unfortunately, you know, they showed such fantastic play throughout this qualifier, but not enough against Ehrmagerd Caernervern, who are big favorites. You know, we were going into it, we were like so surprised that they weren't able to qualify, but if you saw the competition last qualifiers, you can understand why. Still, when it comes down to it, Ehrmagerd Caernervern is showing again why they deserve to be in the WGL, and we're going to see if they can qualify. They're going to pass on into the round of 8, ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to decide their fate, whether or not they qualify. Ehrmagerd Caernervern takes it 3-0. No cons to the T32.
There's no cons to the T32. That's what Clutch is yelling right now, and I'm starting to begin to believe it.
Hey, after how they play it, man, I mean, they were just like, oh, yeah, you have an AMX 5100. Yeah, it does like 1,000 damage, or more than 1,000 damage, excuse me. It does like, what, 1,500 damage maybe if it unloads its whole clip.
Yeah,
plus or minus. But he's like, oh, no, it's okay. I'm good. I still have 800 hit points left.
Maybe you do 1,500 damage every time you have a lot. I do something like 300 or 400, and I'm like,
okay,
should have used gold rounds.
Let's take a look at Tommy Cannon. Let's look at his hits received. That's going to be big money, big money. Look at that.
3,200 damage potential received just in that. And of course,
he should have died 2 times over.
At least. You know, and he was, well, yeah, 1,500 health. Yeah, so he could have died to that. But now, granted, he did damage his allies a little bit, too, so it wasn't like he went completely unscathed. 772 damage is nothing to joke. But, of course, they're at the cap. Why not just shoot your buddy just for the hell of it? So you might be looking at that as like, huh, Tommy Cannon, should I platoon with him? Yes, because he's only going to shoot you when victory is guaranteed. Congratulations again, all to Ehrmagerd Caernervern. All of them played really well. Kemsey and Trouble stacked brilliantly. And, of course, Vect and DeRosta, they were doing too much, but they did enough. But by then, I would say that the game has kind of been decided by the time they arrived to battle. Ruukil, your final takes on this series.
Yeah, so I really liked, I was trying to tell you guys about the T-32s stacking up so they were invincible. We saw that stack when they were fighting on the hill behind the large rock in E5, and they had a great cover fire from that position on Tommy Cannon. That's why he was able to get so many bounces. The enemy couldn't afford to expose themselves enough to actually pen Tommy. And so from that rock, the 2 of them were stacked up in such a way that they bounced shots. People took shots at them. That wasn't happening. The way they stacked up, it was instinctual for them. I know Kemsy in trouble. They're battle buddies for life, and they were on that rock. They were stacked up perfectly, firing over each other. It went amazingly. I was like, yes, Trouble and Kemsy,
they were
good
on
job.
A mountain together.
Oh,
they were on a mountain.
They were on the
They were on a
mountaintop.
mountain.
Behind the rock.
Behind the rocks,
yeah.
firing off at each other. No, over each other.
Over each other, yeah.
Excuse me, over each other.
Right.
It's not.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, let's go back to the map really quick, because we're going to look at just where the engagement happened. Now, if I'm Bear Huggers, I don't want this engagement to happen. This is 100% losing against 3 T-32s. This is what they're geared up for. And you saw a 5-man team couldn't take down 3 T-32s. Not one of them went down. You got to push it up into the hill. You got to make it so that it's a little bit open. You can have some sort of a hull attacks at that position. You need to attack the T-32's hull. It's very, very weak when you see all the
they needed to come in behind them where there wasn't a hull down position.
Correct.
And the thing is, the T-32s were set up to stop anyone going to the hill, so they were ready for that. So that was a part of their strat. They were expecting something like that, which is a smart move, but they're just fast enough to reach that hill and deal enough damage to where if you tried to put all your guys on the hill, it would go poorly.
So could they make two T-69s run up that hill fast
You'd
enough?
need a light tank, a WZ-132, maybe a 1390. T-71 could make it up, but you couldn't make it up there, not with those heavy tanks. You'd have to go all the way around the mine. And so if you went around the mine all the way, and if we look at my screen, I'll draw it out for you guys in just a second.
Draw it out for me,
so
Ruukil.
yes, I will draw it out for you. I will draw things for you. I will draw beautiful arrows going around the hill. If they'd done this right off the bat, expecting it, they could have come behind 2 T-32s while you had those 1500s still going out towards the lighthouse.
But what did those AMX 1500s do? They swept to the east, and then they swept to the west.
And actually, there was a cool shot. I drew an arrow here from F1. There was actually one shot that DeRosa snuck in. That was the T-69, that first one that went down. He snuck that in all the way from the island.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was a good shot from you guys missed it. It's sneaky.
Yeah.
But he snuck that one in there, and that was some good 5100 play before they went off towards the beach and joined the fight. So that was some superb play. The T-32s carrying it, not even needing their 5100s all that much.
Ehrmagerd Caernervern, I talked to you a little bit on Skype. Actually, I just yelled in Ruukil's microphone, and I said, I want you guys to be in the next qualifier, and damn well did you show up and prove why you should be in the next tournament.
I'm sure that's the reason they signed up on.
That is exactly
you asked them.
I said, hey, please, gentlemen, please, can you please?
You called them gentlemen?
Yes.
They would say so many things.
Please, gentlemen, can we have some more games?
Now the story is not. It's just 100% fabricated. Congratulations to them as Bear Huggers drops the Series 0-3, and we'll have to wait till Season 2. But you know what? You're definitely one of the best teams that have played in this qualifier, and we wish you guys best luck next time. That does mean that we have our 8 teams decided for tomorrow, and we'll get more information for you guys tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific. But before we send you off, we also promise to give out gold another time. Clutch is on the set. After he's done a hard day of observing, he's here to give out some gold and premium. Clutch, you are our winners.
Thank you, Dan. Well, to give out one final code for tonight, we have this tweet that was sent from Super Kid Sid saying, learning a lot about strategies on different maps from Ruukil and the rest of the cast. Keep up the great work.
Retweeted by Clutch08.
That's right. Send a retweet to that guy. You keep up the good work, Super Kid Sid, of watching the broadcast, and thank you so much. It's very true that many people will learn a lot about the different strategies from the pros. That's how you're able to get better at video games, by watching people that are better at you, and that's another reason why we love to broadcast these matches, because these storylines and these different tactics that you see from these players can help you in your play. And for example, the T-32 is a tank you definitely want to unlock and play because there's no cons to playing that. We saw that in that last match. So Super Kid Sid, one of our admins, will contact you for your information to give you the code. And as always, guys, follow us on Twitter at WGLNA or on Facebook, WGLNA, or watch the VODs in case you were able to see some of these great matches we've had so far for qualifier number 2 at youtube.com/WGLNA. And if you have any questions about World of Tanks, even the Xbox 360 version that was announced at E3, follow me on Twitter at Clutch08. Back to you, Dan.
The last Twitter account is the most important as far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much, everybody who's joined us on the cast. Thank you to the viewers who are done. We are completed. The round of 16 has concluded, and tomorrow will be the round of 8 to find out which 4 teams will be joining us on July 11th for WGLNA play. Guys, go to WGLNA.com for all information. From the Rancho Cucamonga Studios in California, thank you so much. Hero Level Productions and Wargaming presents to you WGLNA from Frodan, Clutch, Gretorp, and Ruukil. Have a good night, and see you guys tomorrow.